Today I thought I'd try filming while I'm going down the road. Don't worry, I'm going to keep my eyes on the road at all times. And so I'll be safe. But I just thought that as I was traveling down the road, this would be a good time to get another video in. I wanted to talk to you about hope. You know, about 50 years ago, well, more technically, it was in the 1950s, they were able to do all kinds of crazy experiments on animals, and, well, they even were able to do some pretty crazy experiments on people. But one particular experiment that I learned about recently is that they had a bunch of rats that they were doing a test on, and they put these rats down into some water to see how long that they could swim, because rats are supposed to be really strong swimmers. Well, they didn't have any way of getting out of the water, so they started swimming, and on average, about 15 minutes, they started sinking. But the people that were doing the research, they'd reach down and grab the rats out, dry them off, and they would let them rest for a little bit. And so they were going to try the experiment again to see, you know, how long they would last the second time around. Well, something really interesting happened the second time around that kind of blew their minds a bit, because they put them back into the water, and they thought, well, you know, they lasted around 15 minutes first time, maybe it'll be like 10 minutes this time or something like that. Well, they ended up swimming for an average of 60 hours. I mean, can you imagine that? 60 hours. Well, after they thought about it, and many people have concluded, and a lot of psychology people have determined that the reason the rats swam for 60 hours the second time is because they had hope. See, the first time they were in the water, they thought there wasn't a chance for them to survive, so they just gave up kind of early. Well, the second time around, they've already known, it was just right up fresh in their minds. They were able to be taken out whenever they started dropping down, and so they knew that there was a chance for them to be rescued. Since there was hope, they swam for that 60 long hours. And that tells you the power of hope. Well, you and me as Christians, we have the greatest hope that could ever be given to any person, because God loved us so much that He gave us His only Son. He made it possible for us to have salvation. He died upon that cruel cross and was raised from the dead. And now you and I have the hope of eternal salvation. And whenever you say hope, it's not like, oh, I hope this happens. No, it's a realized hope. It's a hope that will happen if you live for God. And so whenever things are getting rough in your life and things aren't quite going the way you'd like them to go, maybe there's a death in the family, maybe there's an accident, whatever. Maybe you get some bad sickness. You may feel bad for a while, or you may, if you're sick enough, you may get really sick and then die. But one thing that every one of us has is hope. And like those rats, we can know that God is going to rescue us. Ultimately, we're going to be in heaven. Knowing that information should motivate us to be like those rats in that second time they were in the water. It should cause us to run as hard as we can, to continue moving forward. Don't give up. God is there for you, and since He's there for you, just keep pressing forward, looking at the big picture, knowing that heaven is your home. Again, don't ever lose hope.